What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Where we remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. So, this coming Friday, just a couple of days away now, we are going back to Riyadh, of course, for the ending of Riyadh season, and we got Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, knockout chaos, and this is going to be a very exciting event. You know, decent undercard and stuff like that. At least a good, good couple of good undercard fights. And yeah, let's talk about the main event. So this is just my thoughts on, what I think is going to happen in this main event. So Francis Ngannou, he's kind of shocked the world of boxing. He's most definitely shocked the world of boxing. It's not even a kind of, by coming from the mixed martial arts background, dealing with the Tyson Fury fight very well. He acquitted himself very well in that fight. That is basically the only footage we've got to go on. He was able to put Tyson Fury on the floor, put him down, and he was able to make the fight with Tyson Fury far, far, far closer than it should have been because, absolutely everybody going into that fight, including myself, thought that it was a very, very, easy fight for Tyson Fury. I was frustrated even going into it because I was just saying to myself, well, what we need to see is undisputed. We don't need to see Tyson Fury in this kind of sideshow fight where he's fighting a guy that's never boxed before. Like, that's no good for boxing. But, Francis Ngannou sort of proved himself in the ring that night. And, many people believe he won the fight, even some boxing people and stuff. So, I'm not one of them, but I believe he made it so close that, morally speaking, it's a victory in and of itself. So Francis Ngannou, he comes into this fight with the right attitude. Even in the face-off, he kind of took the pressure off of himself. He said, I'm the one who chose 10 rounds because I'm still building myself up. Some may say that's a sign of weakness, some may say that's a sign of strength, but I think it's just a sign of he's a man who knows what he wants. He kind of understands where he's at, and he understands pretty much that. Well, I've done 10 rounds before, and I'm not gonna change anything now. I'm in a dangerous fight, and I'm gonna get whatever advantage I can get. And I suppose it being 10 rounds rather than 12 rounds is something that you could say if he does have an advantage, that's kind of an advantage because it kind of takes away that 11th and 12th round where sometimes it makes all the difference in a boxing match if it's a close fight, whatever. So Anthony Joshua, for his part, he's come off of two sort of mediocre performances. Jermaine Franklin was a very uninspiring, not very good performance, and then he had Robert Helenius, the replacement opponent for Dillian White. Great knockout, but the performance was once again kind of tentative. It was, there was nothing really stood out about it. I mean, he wasn't really losing any rounds, but he got caught, and he wasn't really looking his best. He was still looking a bit unsure of himself. But he kind of had a coming out party recently in his fight versus Otto Wallin. Against Otto Wallin, he looked very comfortable. He looked like, very, very sure of himself. He looked like he had his mojo back. He had confidence back. And he was able to just, destroy Otto Wallin, make him not come out from his corner and, make him retire in his corner and everything. He really broke Otto Wallin down and just gave him a beating, one-sided beating. So Joshua himself will be coming into this fight also with a lot of confidence, and I think he's every right to do so, and I think he should be very confident. Um, as far as who I favour, for me, I very clearly favour Anthony Joshua going into this fight. I don't think there's any way I can really favour Francis Ngannou because at the end of the day, you look at the cold hard facts, and yes, he did put down the heavyweight champion in Tyson Fury, but at the same time, he lost the fight. Against Tyson Fury, he had the element of surprise, And that element of surprise is not really going to be here in this fight, and I think that's going to factor in because with Tyson Fury, as much as everyone favored him to win, and he's going to destroy this guy, he's going to walk through this guy. You still had that element of surprise where this is a guy that's never had a professional fight before, so he's going to be unconventional, and we don't know how he's going to shape up. I mean, he was switching to southpaw, and he done a few interesting things in the ring, so there was that sort of element of surprise. We never seen this guy before, and I think the fact that we have seen him, we've seen him do, we've got 10 rounds where we've seen him. I think that's gonna sort of help Anthony Joshua, and my view going into this is that I think Anthony Joshua is gonna do sort of what Tyson Fury should have done. I think that Anthony Joshua is going to get a performance that boxing needs at this time. I think I was saying to someone the other day that for the integrity of the sport of boxing, you know, Anthony Joshua's got to win this. He's got to do this. He's got to get that win over this guy because it's crazy. You can't have someone coming in with, you know, nothing, with no experience, and then he's nearly beaten one guy, and then he's coming and actually beating Joshua. That's you can't have that. And I think with Anthony Joshua going into this, he looks very focused, and he's one of those guys that he has admitted, and I think I've said this myself, that he's a thinker. He's an overthinker, and he said this himself. He's an overthinker. He overthinks things, and micro analyzes things. And I think going into this, the one good thing is that having Ben Davison by his side is great, because Ben Davison is a very analytical guy as well. So he'll have been breaking down footage and breaking down certain things Anthony Joshua should do, plan A, plan B, plan C. I'm sure they'll be prepared for if Ngannou's aggressive, if he decides to box there. I think, with Joshua, he's proper consummate professional, and for me, I just think the boxing IQ and the skill of Anthony Joshua is just going to be too much for Francis Ngannou. I think there may be some scary moments in this fight. I think there may be moments where Anthony Joshua gets clipped, but contrary to what a lot of people think, I think Anthony Joshua does actually have a chin, because if you check it, he's one of these guys. Yes, he's been stopped, but it's you know cases mainly where he's concussed. Against Ruiz, it was one of those high on the head shots where it kind of disorients you. But it wasn't one of those where he's like flat on his back and he's gone and he's unconscious sort of thing. It's the times where that happened, it's very much a sort of concussed thing. So yeah, I think for me, Anthony Joshua is just gonna come out behind the jab, use a powerful jab, and use movement, use lateral movement. I wouldn't advise him to sort of be going around the ring like he did against Andy Ruiz, but I'd advise him to box, to be clever. Don't make those big movements all around the ring, but make little movements, little pivots, and little adjustments, and make Ngannou pay every time he misses. I think Joshua's got to sort of be the counter puncher in this fight, and be clever enough to sort of try and walk Ngannou onto certain shots. And I believe Anthony Joshua can do this. I think he's going to get his tactics right. He's going to use the right amount of aggression. He's not going to be too passive. And for me, yeah, I see Anthony Joshua coming out victorious. I think the most likely way he wins this is going to be on points. But I suppose the best way for his career would be if he does this by stoppage. And he's the type of guy where, as much as Ngannou's very tough, he's taking kicks, he's taking elbows and all this stuff. I'm of the mindset that if Anthony Joshua does enough, if he hits Ngannou enough, if he can sort of systematically do it and break him down over time. You know, it might not be one punch, but it might be a case of you're getting hit and hit and hit and hit. And if Anthony Joshua can sort of put his shots together, be accurate as he is, he's very correct and accurate puncher. You know, and if he can keep putting the combinations together, I think he will eventually break down, and he could even stop or KO Francis Ngannou. But my prediction is that Anthony Joshua does this on points. And, you know, as I say, I'm basing that on ring IQ. I'm basing that on experience. The fact that Anthony Joshua is very skilled, very correct in the way he throws his punches, and he's also a very powerful puncher. I mean, people go on about Ngannou and his power, but Ngannou needs to watch out for Anthony Joshua's power, because he's a very powerful puncher in his own right. So let me know what you think about this. Do you agree with me? Do you have Anthony Joshua win this fight, or perhaps you have Francis Ngannou for the upset? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out.